Hey guys, I'm Nestor here back in another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Coco. Now, Coco is directed by Lee Unkrich and features Anthony Gonzalez, Gael Garcia Bernal, Benjamin Bratt, Elena Ubach, Rainey Victor, Anna Ophelia Maguia, and Natalia Cordova Buckley. So, the plot of Coco is the whole movie takes place in Mexico, and we follow around this Mexican family who, what was I gonna say? Who, like, this whole family owns, like, a shoe repair shop. Like they all repair shoes, like the whole Mexican family, and they hate music so much. Like they literally hate music with a passion, and like they might be the only people in Mexico that hate music, and the reason why is because the whole family, like their great grandpa or or the grandma's grandfather, yeah, like their biggest, like their ancestor, he was a musician, but he left his family. He left his family with he left his family. He left his wife with his daughter Coco, and yeah. So since then they've hated music, but the only person who doesn't hate music in the family is this young little boy named Miguel. Miguel loves music so much, like he admires it, and he even wants to be a musician. And he's always looking up to this the best musician in the world, Ernesto De La Cruz. He's this Mexican singer. He does some of the best music. He does songs like "Remember Me," "Poco Loco," and all this stuff. And he does movies too. He's just legendary to Mexico, and so Miguel admires him. And yeah, so he just really wants to be a musician, but he doesn't want his family to know though. And towards the beginning of the movie, like he wants to attend this talent show to like put music to like play the guitar in the talent show, but his family won't let him, and they even break his guitar. And so what he does is he goes to Ernesto de la Cruz's place where he died, like where they keep his tomb, and they keep his guitar there too. And so Ernesto de la Cruz is his great grandfather, like the one that abandoned them. So yeah, and then like he tries to take his guitar because it's like, if I take it, like you'll, like I'm pretty sure you'll understand. And so once he plays it, that sends him to the land of the dead. Like that sent him to the place where the dead people are. And so the place where the dead people are, the land of the dead, like all these people are skeletons, and like no human being can see them, like at all. And but Miguel can see them because he just entered there. And so these skeletons, like they all live in this huge place, like this huge world with skeletons. And so yeah, and so once he gets there, like he meets up with his old family, like his ancestors, his, like all the people on the what was that thing called, the place where they kept the pictures. How can I forget what it was called? The ofrendo. Yeah, the ofrendo. So yeah, those are all the people in the ofrendos. And so but once he meets with them, like he can't stay in this world forever, because then if he stays for a day, then he'll turn into skeletons and he'll die. Like his whole body's turning into skeletons very slowly. And so in order to get home, he has to get his blessing from his family. And so once he does that, like his family like tells him like to get his blessing, but to never be a singer again once he goes back to the world. And so he does not want that. And so throughout the whole movie, like he's gonna try to look for his other family, Ernesto de la Cruz, and try to get his blessing so he could go back home. But when he does that, like he also gets help from this other dude named Hector, like he can't go to the land of the living because his picture is not on any ofrendo. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, he teams up with Miguel. Miguel gives him a deal that if he helps him get to Ernesto de la Cruz, he'll put his picture up in his ofrendo. So yeah, that's basically the whole plot of Coco. Now, do I like Coco? Yes, I love Coco. Actually, this is definitely one of Pixar's best movies. Like literally, it's fact. It's one of Pixar's best movies. Definitely on my top 10, like for sure. And I just love this movie so much. And the first time I saw this movie was actually in history class in my freshman year. And when I saw that movie, I had gotten told that I looked like the human version of Miguel. I honestly don't think that, but comment down below if you think that or not. What was I gonna say? When I saw Coco in class, like I was really like not blown away, but I was really like in awe on what I just saw. This movie's just so cool. Like I love the whole Mexican feel to it. Like I'm a Mexican, so I understand the feel. So the whole Mexican feel is just so cool, and I just love how we get our first Mexican cartoon movie. I mean, we've had a bunch of other Mexican cartoon movies, but they weren't all that great. So this was our first legit good one actually, and it was the first ever Mexican movie with Pixar too. What was I gonna say? This movie's, let's just talk about the characters to this movie, starting with Miguel. Now, I really love Miguel to this movie. Like, all these characters are great, unlike other Pixar movies, like the one I just reviewed, Brave, which none of those characters are great. But right here, these characters are amazing. Like, they are more than great, actually. Like, I love Miguel so much. I love how he just wants to be a singer, and he wants to fulfill his dream, but throughout the whole movie, like, he doesn't really trust his other family. He trusts like that family that left him, the Nestor De La Cruz. Like, he mostly trusts him. Just letting you guys know, I am gonna get into some spoilers in this review, so leave this review if you haven't seen this movie. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already seen this movie already. Excuse me. I just love that whole part of the story where he's just trying to go to him, and he ends up and like I love his whole relationship with Hector too. How he's trying to help Hector put his photo on the ofrenda, and he's always, and Hector's even helping him out too and making him look like a dead person, I just really like that a lot. So yeah, Miguel. Anything else that you talk about with Miguel? And I really like his singing too. Like his whole singing in the movie was so cool. Like he had such a engaging singing voice. Actually, like he definitely could fit into being a singer. Let me think. And I just really love how he really wants to be like Ernesto De La Cruz. He even smiles like him too. Let me think. He was just a great character. And now let's talk about Hector, which I think Hector is actually my favorite character in this movie. I love how Hector, like, he's just being this forgotten person, because, like, as you're staying in the land of the dead, like, you're still kind of alive, but dead. But there are some days where you can get forgotten. Like, literally, you'll be forgotten and then vanish from the land of the dead. And literally, like, you'll just vanish and you'll go to the second death is what they call it. And so he's about to witness that unless he doesn't get his photo on the ofrenda by the end of the night. And I love that whole story arc with him. And I just love how passionate he is to like go to the land of the living to see his daughter. Is there anything else I should say about Hector? Let me think. And I really like how, like, he's very caring about Coco too. I love that a lot about him too. And I also really love how he's always, like, very passionate to be remembered again so he won't die. Like, of course you'd be that passionate that he's like, he tells, whenever Miguel tells him stuff, like some very emotional stuff, he's like, oh, that is a very good phrase, but in a terribly bad time. He was really funny too. Like, this movie was super funny too. Like, super funny. Definitely one of the funnier Pixar movies, and I would say a lot of the jokes were from Hector, and I would definitely say he was the funniest and the character in the whole movie. Let me think. Is there anything else I just say? And I really like how he knew who Ernesto De La Cruz was before he died, and they went back long ways, which I'll get to that later on in the review. Definitely, like I said, he is the best character of the movie. Now let's get on to Ernesto De La Cruz. This is where I'm gonna get really spoiler heavy. So, Ernesto De La Cruz is the main villain of the movie. He's actually the main antagonist, and he is not a good person at all. And he, like, the movie, like, the movie and Miguel makes you think that this is Miguel's great-great-grandfather at first, but it's not. he is such an evil bastard. Like, he's such an evil prick. Yeah, and he's definitely one of the Pixar villains that I absolutely hate. Not in a bad way, but I hate him because he's so bad. Yeah, yeah, I just love how this movie just made him so bad. He's literally like the whole world thinks he's good, but he's actually bad. It reminds me a lot like the superheroes in that one TV show on Amazon Prime. I forgot what it was called. But I like that a lot about him. Let me think. What was I gonna say? He's played by Benjamin Bratt too, and I really like Benjamin Bratt as an actor. He also played El Macho in Despicable Me, and he was also in a lot of other cool movies like Blood In and Blood Out. And I just really like Nestor De La Cruz, and I really like how his whole motivation in the movie, how he killed Hector. That's what killed him. And from there he stole his songs that he was writing. Like, Hector should have been the one to have all of Ernesto de la Cruz fame, but instead he killed Hector and stole all his songs and became the famous person. And he mostly does it to seize his moment. For what he says, like, he'll do anything to seize his moment. He'll do anything to be popular, to be bigger, like to be famous, to seize his moment. That's literally his whole catchphrase, and I hate it so much. He uses it in such a bad way. Yeah, and so yeah, he was an awesome villain, actually. One of the best Pixar villains, honestly. Like, I'd say he's up there with Lotso, honestly. Lotso and all the other iconic Pixar villains. Let me think. Ernesto De La Cruz, at first he's just this cocky dude. Like, he's this cocky dude who always enjoys parties, who always enjoys being famous, and then you see the full dark side of him, literally. And I'm really glad for what happened to him at the end of the movie. Yeah. Now let's get on to what's her name? I forgot her name. Mama Imelda, I forgot her name, but it's Hector's wife. The great grandmother. I liked her a lot too. She was really cool. And I really like how she hates music too, and she's hated Hector since she left him, and she's never even talked to him since. Like, they've always stayed in the land of the dead, but she's never talked to him since. And I really like her whole secret too, that she knows how to sing too. Like, she knows what it's like to sing, and she used to how much she loved music. Like, she still remembers that, but she does not love it anymore. And I love that a lot about her. And I really love how caring she is about Miguel. Like, her and her family are really caring to get Miguel back to the world. And yeah, they just really care to get him back to the world, because that's the family. And I really love that a lot about them. And and I really like how much Mama Imelda changes in the end of the movie, where she's slowly falling in love with Hector. In case you guys didn't know, this is a full spoiler review. What was I gonna say? By the end of the movie, she ends up falling in love with Hector, and let me think. And then she ends up what was I gonna say? And then she ends up showing her full side, that she loves singing. So yeah, and I like all the other characters too, like the other family too, like the two uncles that are twins, and then the old one with the mustache, and then Tia Victoria. Yeah, they were all really cool. Any other characters I'm missing? Oh yeah, and I liked Miguel's other family too, like his abuelita. I thought she was really, really funny, how she was always getting her sando and hitting people, like, no music. She was always yelling at people, no music. Yeah, those parts were so funny, how she hated music so much. Like, all the mariachis that would go next to her house, she would yell at them, no music. Yeah, she was really funny too. And I really like how caring she was about Miguel, like how much she doesn't want him to be a part of music, how she wants him to be a part of the workshop, and how much she loves him too. Like, she's always smothering him every day, always kissing him, and she loves him even more than Miguel's parents do. Like, literally, it's true love with Abuelita and Miguel. And I really like the nicknames she gives him too, like my Miguel, Titito, Titito. She was funny too. What other character? And then there's this other character named Rita, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry if I keep like confusing their names. I mean, I'm close to saying like their names. I think her name was Rita. She was a funny character too. How she would help Ernesto de la Cruz perform. I mean, not really. Like he would always be in parties instead of performing, but she would perform like like his stage dancing and like how the his shows are supposed to go. And but she really likes Hector too. Like Hector is her best friend. And yeah, and I really like how she has Hector like borrow. She always lets Hector borrow her costume so he can look like Frida. Her name's Frida. Yeah, not Rita. Frida. Um, yes, yes, and I really like. She always like is. She's always a really big helper with Miguel and Hector, and I love that a lot about her. So yeah, that's all the characters. Yeah, all the characters were great, even the minor characters too. Now let's get on to the setting of this movie. The setting to this movie. Wow, it was so gorgeous. Literally, this movie was so beautiful, so eye-popping, so good to look at, so riveting, so engaging, and it was so beautiful to look at. This movie was so colorful. There was a ton of colors everywhere, and it's literally like it's amazing. Like yeah, and this movie I love looking at the scenery to this movie. It just looks mind-boggling in a good way. Yeah, and yeah, so the setting and the scenery was a huge positive about this movie. Huge positive actually. Now let's talk about the soundtrack to this movie. I love the soundtrack to this movie. Actually, the soundtrack to this movie is awesome. It's fantastic. I love it so much. It is Oscar worthy actually. Like I love the music to this movie. Like the music they sing, like "Remember Me" and "Poco Loco" and the other song that Miguel sings to Ernesto de la Cruz in the party. Um, I forgot how it went, but that was a good song. I usually don't like mariachi or Mexican music, but this style of mariachi and Mexican music I thought was fantastic. Yeah, and I like the background music to the movie too, like the little music in the background. I like that a lot too. Yeah, just the sound. Yeah, the music. It'd be a crime not to talk about it. It's amazing. Let me think. Oh yeah, and this, like I said, this movie had a lot of comic relief in it, and I definitely thought it all worked for me. The pacing was beautiful actually. Like I dug the pacing to this movie actually. Like this movie was paced so well. Like it felt like a movie that felt like beginning, middle, and end. And yeah, it was just timed really well. Each scene was timed well, and each scene went on, and each scene was cut well. So yeah, the pacing was great. Uh, and I thought, I think Lee Unkrich hasn't made a Pixar movie since Toy Story 3, and I thought he did an amazing continuation with doing another Pixar movie, and he shows the exact same emotion as in Toy Story 3. But I like Toy Story 3 just a hair more than this movie. Let me think. Is there anything else I just say? So yeah, like I said, animation was astounding. And this movie did get very suspenseful too. Like all the scenes with Ernesto de la Cruz were very suspenseful. Like the scene where he puts them all underground in that water, I thought was very suspenseful. And literally, that there was like this twist and turns in this movie were amazing. Like I was not expecting any of the twists and turns. Like I did not expect the whole Ernesto twist. And the twist that Hector was Miguel's great grandfather. Like I was not expecting any of this actually. And this movie was super creative. Is there anything else I should say about this movie? Let me think. Is there anything else I should say? Oh yeah, I'll just talk about some of the scenes I really liked in this movie. Like I really liked the scene where Miguel and Hector are singing Poco Loco on stage. That scene was fun. It was very entertaining, and I really liked that scene with. I thought the scene was very emotional where Hector had to say goodbye to his old friend because like there was this whole place like that was kind of like hidden from like the other side of the city, the land of the dead city. Where there was these whole group of people that they were all forgotten. They were all none of their pictures were on the ofrendas, so they basically called each other families. And so Hector always calls them his family too. And so the scene was very beautiful, and where he's about to say goodbye to his friend or his tío Chicharron, where Chicharron is like slowly fading away because no one's remembering him. and so he's just singing a song to him in the guitar, like his favorite song, and then he's telling him like, "Can I borrow the guitar? I'll bring it back." And he's like, "Just like you brought back my mini fridge, my van, my this other thing on his leg, I forgot what he called it." But yeah, that scene was so emotional where he sang that song to him before he died, and then when he died, he vanished away, and it looked gorgeous actually when he vanished away, and he vanished away in like orange dust. Yeah, that scene was very It was very sad, and then even Miguel like learns about the land of the dead by Hector telling him like what happened to him. Let me think. Any other scenes I like in this movie? Let me think. Oh yeah, and I really like the spirit guides in this movie too. I thought the spirit guides were pretty cool. I thought, yeah, and they were very gorgeous to look at too. How the spirit guides were so colorful. The cat with the wings, and then Dante. Oh yeah, Dante. I like Dante a lot too. The little cute dog that's always guiding Miguel, and he's always telling him like, "No, go back, go back." Like he's biting his sweater, saying, "Go back to Hector." Like, and he becomes a spirit guide at the end, and I really like that a lot. So yeah, Dante was really funny, and he had a lot of like emotional scenes. Let me think. What was I gonna say? Anything else I should say? Oh yeah, and I really like that scene where where Miguel meets Ernesto De La Cruz in the party, and then like Ernesto De La Cruz is at first nice to him, but then he throws him in that place. Oh yeah, and I like that scene where it reveals that Ernesto De La Cruz poisoned him, and then Miguel finds out about him, and then he starts thinking wrong about Ernesto De La Cruz, like he starts hating him. Yeah, like his like, and that was so sad actually. Like his childhood admirer, like the person he always loved, became the person that he most hated, that killed his great grandfather. Yeah, and he became evil. So yeah, I thought that was really sad actually. Let me think. Anything else I should say? Oh yeah, and I really like the end of the movie a lot, where they're trying to get the picture from Ernesto De La Cruz, and they're trying to like take Miguel back to the land of the living. And I really like that scene a lot, where the cat takes where they all expose Ernesto De La Cruz to the public, and then they all hate him, and then the tiger throws him onto the bell tower where he died when he was alive. And I love that a lot, how he died the same way as he did when he was alive. Yeah, that was so cool. Let me think. Anything else I should say? Let me think. Oh yeah, and I really like that scene where Hector's about to die, but then they take him back to the land of the living. And this scene was so sad, and this scene always makes my family cry, and it makes me cry too. The scene where he goes back to Mama Coco, and he's singing the song to her, like he's trying to get her to remember Hector, her father, and he sings to her "Remember Me" on the guitar, and then that makes her wake up because she's very unconscious, and then that makes her wake up, and that makes her conscious, and that makes her able to talk to the family, and then literally tears everywhere. Yeah. And then she gives and then she kept all the poems and the letters that her father kept her. She even kept the rimmed picture, and then they put Hector on the ofrenda, and then Hector comes back to life. Yeah, it was just so sad, just very heartwarming ending. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this movie is beautiful. To rate this movie, I really want to rate this movie an A+. Actually, like I would really love to rate this movie an A+. But my one major flaw with this movie is so much like awful lot like the Book of Life. The Book of Life movie that's by Laika. Or Leica, whatever you call that, the claymation movies. So yeah, this movie is a lot like the Book of Life, and this movie came out before the Book of Life too. So yeah, that's my only flaw with this movie. So to rate this movie, I'll rate it a solid A, but it is very close to an A+ though. Yeah, bye, and see you all in the next review.